I'm here to fight for the people. I'm not here to win a pageant. So
Amen. And it really shocks me how many people just have such a big problem with voting independent. I've never understood why more people aren't more willing to vote independent, being that they are the very few politicians that don't get involved in all of the corruption.
let me show you something. Now, I have access to every registered voter in the United States. Okay. Like every single one of them, how they're registered, how they vote, how they voted in the past. Let me break this down for you guys. So on the Republican side, this is nationwide. 28% of registered voters are Republican. That's it.
Wow, really?
As of last month, by the way, they change every month, but it's
Right.
only by like a 1 or 2%. It just fluctuates. On the Democratic side, as of last month, only 30% of the nation. And the independent, 2%. Now, for the last 35 years, the independents have been anywhere from 40 to 52% of the nation. So the independents are the overwhelming majority. All right, now let's talk about the candidates that we have now. On the Republican side, 70% of this, 28%, want Trump. On the Democratic side, 68%. The remainder amount of this, of the percentage, neither Biden nor Trump.
Right.
The remainder percentage of this on this side, well, neither Biden nor Trump. So the Biden fans and the Trump fans are the minorities in our nation. But we've become a society of drama. So we've allowed the two extreme minorities to control everything. That's not how this country was structured. Now, here's 42% of the nation. Now listen to this. A whopping 6% of that 42% want neither Trump nor Biden.
Those are some pretty big numbers.
Yes, it is. The remainder out of the Republican Party, the remainder out of the Democratic Party, and this 96% of that 42% are a overwhelmingly huge silent majority. Up until now, actually, I might not look like it, but we're fixing to get to the nitty gritty of it. But up until here recently, there's never been an independent that has had ballot access in all 50 states. Never in our history. It's never happened to have ballot access in all 50 states.
Nice.
Now, I am completely self-funded. Completely. I am an independent. There was no reason for me to go public, really public, and start asking people to donate to the campaign if I could not be on the ballot, because it's not fair, right? And I don't want their money anyway. I mean, we're going to need it for this. So a lot of people say, well, how did you get on the ballot? It cost me, nobody else, me out of my pocket, $33.6 million.
That's a lot of money.
It's a whole lot of money. That's what it cost me right there. You can check out the financials. You can do all that at fec.gov. You can see how much I've spent. I've spent another around $830,000 just on miscellaneous stuff and paying team members and stuff like that.
Oh, so you mean actual transparency? That's what that looks like?
Yeah, that's what that looks like. I mean, you can go on and actually see what I pay and everything. But now here's the thing. You see this $33.6 million? Mm-hmm. The only way for an independent to get on the ballot, because of the way the FEC is structured, half of it goes here and the other half goes here. I have to pay my competitors
wow,
a total of $33.6 million.
So how much do they pay you?
To get on the ballot to compete. They didn't pay me anything.
That's just crazy.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one for you. You ready? Because we're getting ready to drop some money for this. For an independent, just them to mention their name, for them to be on the news, for the New York Times or Washington Post or any of the other newspapers, whatever, to list my name right there under the independent, right? It cost me $1.4 million per day.
Oh my Lord. So does that go to the super parties too?
Yes, it does.
Oh my gosh. Like, and it blows my mind the way that so many things are set up, and we, the people, just, oh, well, and just let it continue and let it go on. And we don't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, it also blows my mind how people will say, well, a vote for you is a vote for the other guy. If you think that, that's a lie that you've been told your entire life, because the numbers don't lie. The majority want somebody else. The majority wants something else.
I've heard several people make the comment where when you vote independent, it's like a waste of a vote, something along those lines. I'm not really sure where that's coming from.
It's just the two parties have always said that. They don't want people voting for anything other than the two parties. So they make it to where it's a waste. But they also make it to where you've got to pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money on the ballot. A lot.
Well, it deters people from trying to step up to get rid of the corruption.
For sure. You know, I'm lucky I was able to self-fund. My family has a history of funding government things and being screwed over, so I figured I'd just keep it going.
Yeah.
You can go and you can look up Nathaniel Drake, which was during the Revolutionary War. Like him and George Washington were really good friends. George Washington lived with him some during the Revolutionary War out of New Jersey. But it was the Drake family that funded the Revolutionary War and never got paid back. And that's my 8th great grandfather. So
that's been going on for a hot minute. They just like your money.
Yeah, yeah, for a very long time, that's for sure. I mean, it made the family go broke. Because of that habit, it made the family go broke. The money that I use, that is actually money that I made in my previous career. And the truth of the matter is, folks, I consider it as ill-gotten gains because of the horrible things that we did do through my 15-year career, and use that money for anything other than good. I mean, I spent a 15-year career hurting the country and getting paid for it. So it's ill-gotten gains. I have to use that money to fix the country, to undo all the wrongs, not just the wrongs that during my career that were done to the American people, but throughout the history of the United States. So we'll keep pushing and we'll keep fighting.
We sure are grateful for you and love your message. I love your transparency and your honesty. It's quite refreshing. We don't really get that from politicians.
No, and you guys can visit my website. It's pdrake4us.com, and go in and actually read the policies. Don't just read the titles of the policies. I wrote those policies myself. No one helped me. I wrote them. Don't let this southern accent fool you. I do have a 160 IQ. I do know how to read and write. I just sound horrible. But go in and read them. And keep an open mind. Don't be Democrat or Republican whenever you read it, okay? Because I worked really hard listening to what everybody wanted. The right, the left, and the center, okay? I put all three of those things together and found common ground and wrote policies. And if we don't think Republican or Democrat, I promise you that you will like them. I promise you. But you got to read the whole thing. You can't just get triggered by one word or this or that. And as I said before, think Democrat or Republican. Because in every policy, I put something for everybody.
Yeah, we have to, as communities, we have to learn how to compromise too and work together for the common good for everyone.
Absolutely. And you'll read some of my policies and you'll see that whenever it comes to large corporations and the things that they've done to us, I am brutal. Those policies have teeth because I believe in free market capitalism, not this elitist capitalism crap that we've got now. I mean, we might as well live in a dictatorship.
I mean, they've being gotten away with so much for so long.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just ridiculous, and we have to put a stop to it. Look, if not for you, then we have to do it for the future generations. My children, I don't know if you guys can hear them running around in the background. My children will have no future if we don't do something. If we keep voting in the Joe Bidens and the Donald Trumps of the world, we might as well just go ahead and just unalive ourselves because we're killing the nation anyway.
It's destroyed more and more every term that passes.
Yeah, it is. And there's nothing good that comes of it. It's just more division, more division, more division. Listen, humans are naturally tribal. We have been since the beginning of time. But we have to start understanding that we're not a tribe of Republicans and we're not a tribe of Democrats. We are one tribe, which is Americans, which is extremely diverse, which is what makes us so strong. And we have to start seeing one another again as Americans. That's what we are. There is no Republican. There is no Democrat. There's only Americans. And dialogue is very important. You cannot just shut somebody off because they're not part of your party. You can't just roll in and argue with people. You have to have dialogue. You have to talk. You have to listen to each other. How many people do you hear now that are like, if you got a Republican and a Democrat that are talking, all they care about, they don't talk about policy. They care about is, how can you think that Donald Trump is a good president? Well, how can you think that Joe Biden's a good president? Well, you're wrong because you think Donald Trump's a good president. No, you're wrong.
Everybody's focused on the wrong issues.
For sure. Read the policy, send me a message, an email. I'll actually respond back to you. And I love doing these interviews. I like talking to people. We can go through and I can give policies and the solutions and stuff like that. If your viewers want to see that. If they don't want to see it, well, then there's nothing in doing it.
Well, I'd be honored to have you come join me again.
All right.
Oh,
so
how
what
are
you
you
guys
two doing today?
Well,
You tell me you forgot to brush your hair this morning.
well, I forgot to brush my hair this morning.
It's okay. It's overrated anyways.
How are you going to change the world?
Well, by just being just like my daddy.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That'll work. Anyway, we'll say bye.
It was so nice to meet you. Thank you for joining me.
Well, let's kick ass and take some names.
Let's do it.
Have a good one.
You too.
There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong.